Another video for you with new stories from Ethiopia, Somalia and Eritrea. Before headlines, I have an important correction. Yesterday, I shared pictures of Mustafa Umar, Somali region's president, and a message by Mustafa Umar. Mustafa Umar shared a message. He said that ONLF, Ogaden National Liberation Front leaders, paid a courtesy call on him on the occasion of Eidul Adha. He shared his pictures with ONLF leaders, and he said in the statement that in his message that two members of ONLF were part of Somali region's cabinet too. The correction is that the ONLF leaders who were seen with Mustafa Umar are not leaders of main ONLF. Ogaden National Liberation Front is led by Abdi Rahman. But there is a splinter faction of ONLF which is backed by Mustafa Umar's government. A few weeks ago, National Election Board of Ethiopia directed all Ethiopian political parties to hold general assemblies, to hold internal party elections. Back then we saw that ONLF led by Abdi Rahman and ONLF backed by Mustafa Umar's regional government tried to hold separate meetings. So this faction which was seen, whose leaders were seen with Mustafa Umar, is not main ONLF faction. It is very important that we make this correction. Main faction is led by Abdi Rahman, and main ONLF party is an opposition party. And it has been trying to form alliance against Mustafa Umar's government to start a movement. We saw that main ONLF leaders held meetings with newly formed Congress for Somali Cause. Meetings were held in Nairobi, Kenya, though no state movement could be started. Now some new stories. First one is from the Afar region of Ethiopia, where at least 4 children have been killed in a bomb explosion. Second news story is from Somali region of Ethiopia. We have a clip for you. We know that Afar and Somali regional governments have been involved in border disputes, and there have been border clashes. A few weeks ago, there were several rounds of clashes on Somali-Afar border. Yesterday, when Eid celebrations were being held, Somali Special Forces organized a gathering, and there a special force, Somali Special Force soldiers spoke about Semera, Afar. What did he say? Thirdly, we have a new story about protests being held in the US, in Europe, in Canada. The protest started after Ethiopian government launched an operation in the Amhara region of Ethiopia. A few hours ago, a protest was held in Calgary, Canada, and on Monday, several protests will be held, and participants are being given messages that all of them should wear black dress to condemn Valaga massacres in Monday's demonstrations. Fourthly, we have a statement of a former ONLF leader. His name is Lencho Letta. He spoke about upcoming talks between Tigray People Liberation Front-led Tigray government and Ethiopian federal government. What did he say? And lastly, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, Somalia's president, is in Eritrea. Some anti-Eritrea news sources are claiming that Hassan Sheikh is not being allowed to visit Somalia soldiers who are receiving military training in Eritrea, and we have been receiving unconfirmed reports that they were deployed to Tigray to fight against Tigray Defense Force, and several of them were killed. Is Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud being prevented from visiting Somalia soldiers who are undergoing military training in Eritrea? Firstly, first news story is from Afar region of Ethiopia. Afar was a battlefield last year in several zones of Afar. For months there was fighting between Tigray forces and Afar regional forces, Afar militias. And in December last year, Tigray Defense Force withdrew from most parts of Afar, but then it again launched a military offensive on Afar, and in March then TDF withdrew from Afar region. Problem which now people of Afar are facing is leftover munitions. Bombs are being discovered, and bomb explosions are being seen. Not landmines, mostly bombs. And in an incident on Saturday in a Wareda called Adar Wareda of Afar region, a bomb exploded and 4 children have been killed in this explosion. This is not the first time that we have seen such an incident happen in a Afar region. I remember I did a video on an earlier similar incident happened in Afar a few months ago. So these leftover munitions are serious problem for the people of Afar region, and for the people of Tigray as well. We have received similar reports from Tigray too, that in bomb explosions of leftover munitions, leftover bombs, some Tigrayans have been killed. Obviously, Afar forces do not have sophisticated technology to locate and defuse these bombs. So these bombs pose a threat to civilians, especially children in Afar and Tigray regions of Ethiopia. A second news story is from the Somali region of Ethiopia. Somali and Afar regions have been involved in border clashes for years. Ondofu, Garbaise, and some other border areas are the cause of dispute between Somali and Afar people. And we saw clashes between locals of the two areas a few weeks ago. Then clashes spread into Djibouti, where Afar neighborhoods came under attacks. We have a video clip for you showing a soldier of Somali Special Force. Reportedly, in Kararaf, which is in Somali region, a program was organized by Somali Special Force soldiers regarding Eid al-Adha, celebrated by Muslims yesterday. And a Somali Special Force soldier addressed the people who were there, and he said, we will control Semera, Afar. Very irresponsible statement, irresponsible remark by a government official, a special force soldier, that he is instigating the people, you can say, that they should attack Semera, that one day Semera will be under Somali control. Yes, people do speak irresponsibly sometimes from both sides. But government officials, soldiers, special force soldiers, such remarks are provocative, I think, and action must be taken against these government officials which are instigating people, I would say. Watch this clip from Karraraf. You can hear a Somali special force soldier talking about Semera, which is in Afar region of Ethiopia.
مهمة halkaan intisayno xaqiiqiyan waa Semera weeyaan Semera Semera Somali fartaas baan qabanaynaa hadal weyn aftay dhammaan baa dhalinyarada iyo qiimaha iyo qadarinta iyo sharafta mudan ee deegaanka Soomaalida degmada Qararaf ee gobolka City hambalyan idin leenahay adinka iyo ciidankiina xoogga gaarka ah ee habeen iyo maalinba u taagan sidii aad u xoreyn lahaydeen ummadiina
Thirdly, viewers, we have a new story from Canada. Amhara diaspora demonstrations have been underway for more than a month. We have seen demonstrations in Germany, in UK, US, and now in Calgary, Canada. The demonstrations are gaining momentum after two Valaga massacres in Kellam and West Valaga. We are seeing intensified demonstrations in Europe and in North America. A protest was held a few hours ago in Calgary, Canada. And on Monday, calls are being made for major demonstrations in North America and Europe. And people are being told to wear black dresses on Monday during protests due to be held to condemn alleged genocide of Amhara ethnic group members in Ethiopia. You can see some pictures on screen. The pictures are from Calgary, Canada, where this protest was held by Ethiopian diaspora, mostly Amhara diaspora members, a few hours ago. Fourthly, we have a new story about a statement of a former ONLF leader. His name is Lencho Letta. He is former leader of Oromo Liberation Front. Now, he is seen as pro-PM Abiy, and some say that he is in alliance with PM Abiy's government. Lencho Letta spoke about talks between Tigray government and Ethiopian federal government. And he said a few hours ago, talking to Ethiopian state media, he said Ethiopian government's interest in pursuing discussions with TPLF is good. But TPLF's silence is worrying. TPLF has not issued a statement so far. Destruction and damage and devastation have been caused due to the conflict in northern Ethiopia. TPLF should show maturity. It should not instigate people. It should not spread propaganda for independence, though people of Tigray have right to self-determination. So he is accusing Tigray People Liberation Front that it is silent. It is not reciprocating Ethiopian federal government's actions for the start of talks. Ethiopian federal government has formed a committee, 7-member committee for talks with Tigray representatives. Tigray has not announced the formation of any committee so far. Tigray wants resumption of basic services and Tigray wants only Kenya-led talks. And Kenya is busy, as I said earlier in the previous video, that election is due to be held in Kenya in August. So the pace of movement towards talks is very slow. But Lencho Letta is questioning TPLF's intentions, as if TPLF is not willing to start talks. What we have learned is that TPLF wants assumption of basic services before the start of talks. That is why talks are being delayed. And secondly, there are disputes over the venue, over the mediators, who will mediate, where will the talks be held. Meanwhile, we're seeing that humanitarian situation in Tigray is improving. More aid is entering Tigray. And fuel supplies to Tigray have also improved. Though a lot needs to be done, it's not that all Tigray residents are receiving food aid. Still there is shortage of food, still there is shortage of medicines. So, and farmers are complaining that they have not received enough fertilizer, seeds. Farming season is ongoing, so a lot needs to be done. But progress towards start of talks is extremely slow, and if there is no momentum in coming days, could there be a collapse of this humanitarian truce announced a few months ago? Lastly, viewers, Hassan Sheikh Mahmoud, Somalia's president, is in Eritrea. He arrived in Eritrea yesterday. It was being said that he would take up the issue of the return of Somalia's thousands of soldiers under training in Eritrea. The soldiers were sent by previous Somalia's government led by Abdullahi Farmajo. Then UN Special Rapporteur on Eritrea and some other individual sources claim that Somalia soldiers in Eritrea were deployed to Tigray to fight against Tigray Defense Force. And we heard from some TPLF leaders as well who also said that Somalia soldiers fought in Tigray against Tigray Defense Force. Hassan Sheikh is now in Eritrea. But so far we have not seen any pictures, any statement that Hassan Sheikh has visited Somalia soldiers who are in Eritrea. And one of the main objectives behind this visit is to secure the return of these thousands of around 5,000 Somalia soldiers who are in Eritrea. Their families have been demanding their release. And a few days ago, Somalia's government confirmed that some have been killed during training due to natural causes. So there are conflicting reports about where these soldiers are. Were they deployed to Tigray or not? Hassan Sheikh, while is in Eritrea, is expected to meet these soldiers. Some anti-Eritrea news sources are claiming that Hassan Sheikh is not being given access to these soldiers. We have no such report that Hassan Sheikh is being prevented from meeting these soldiers. He could meet these soldiers in coming hours. The way he was received by Isaias Afwerki on Amhara airport a few hours ago, it shows that Isaias Afwerki, Eritrea want to start friendly ties with Somalia. I don't think that Hassan Sheikh will be prevented from gaining access to Somalia soldiers in Eritrea. But in coming hours, we'll try to update you. Some anti-Eritrea news sources are sharing these claims. It's a 4-day visit. Today is the second day. So Hassan Sheikh could visit these soldiers in coming hours. Thank you for watching.